Bienvenidos de nuevo al Exnova Abogados Junior. Hoy nos adentraremos en un concepto legal fundamental, el Estado Civil. Exploremos qué es, de dónde proviene y por qué es tan importante en nuestra vida diaria. The idea of civil status isn't new. It has its roots in ancient Roman law. In Rome, a person's rights and obligations were determined by three statuses. First, the asterisk status, libertatis asterisk, which defined if you were free or a slave. Second, the asterisk status asterisk, which determined your citizenship, whether you were a foreigner, a Latin, or a full Roman citizen. And third, the asterisk status familia asterisk, which defined your position within the family as either the head of the household or subject to one. Essentially, your combined status determined your legal capacity. The more status you had, the more rights you enjoyed. Your legal personality was a combination of all three. So, what do we mean by civil status today? In broad terms, it is the set of natural or acquired qualities that define a person's position within the community. The legal system recognizes these qualities and assigns specific effects to them, like your capacity to act and your rights and duties. To make it simpler, think of it in a few ways. In its widest sense, civil status includes any personal quality the law uses to create legal consequences. A slightly narrower view sees it as your standing in relation to the state, your family, and yourself. But in civil law, we usually use the most restricted definition. Civil status is the set of legal situations that connect you to the family you come from and the family you may have formed. It also includes other fundamental facts about your personal identity. Let's break down the different types of civil status. First, we have political civil status. This defines your relationship with the state and includes two key components: nationality and citizenship. Nationality is the legal bond that ties you to a particular country, making you a national of that state. Citizenship, on the other hand, is the status you typically gain upon reaching the age of majority, which grants you the ability to exercise political rights and fulfill political duties, like voting. Next, and perhaps most commonly discussed, is familial civil status. This is where things get really interesting, as it covers your position within the family, primarily through filiation and marriage. Filiation refers to your relationship with your parents and relatives, which creates kinship. Legally, kinship is classified into two types: consanguinity and affinity. Kinship, by consanguinity, is the relationship between people connected by blood, like parents and children, or siblings and cousins. This can be in a direct line, like grandparents to grandchildren, or in a collateral line, like uncles and nieces. The closeness of the relationship is measured in degrees, with each generation forming 1 degree. Kinship by affinity is the relationship that exists between one spouse and the blood relatives of the other spouse. So, your in-laws are your relatives by affinity. It's important to note that spouses themselves don't have a kinship relationship. They have a spousal bond created by marriage. Speaking of marriage, this is the other major aspect of familial civil status. Your status in relation to marriage can be single, married, legally separated, divorced, or widowed. The legal act that changes this status is a civil marriage. If you've never been married, your status is single. Once you marry, you can never go back to being single. Your status will then become married and can later change to divorced, legally separated, or widowed, but not back to single. Now, what about stable de facto unions, often called common law marriages? The Venezuelan Constitution, in Article 77, states that stable unions between a man and a woman that meet legal requirements produce the same effects as marriage. However, this is a crucial point. It doesn't mean the partners have the civil status of married. That status is exclusive to those who have gone through a civil marriage ceremony. A 2005 Supreme Court ruling clarified this. It stated that while these unions are legally recognized and are equated to marriage in many respects, they are not the same thing. For example, the duties of cohabitation and fidelity, which are legally binding in a marriage and can be grounds for divorce, don't apply in the same way to stable unions. The court emphasized that the relationship is based on a permanent public-facing partnership, not necessarily living under the same roof. The partners do have a mutual duty of support, similar to spouses. However, the union doesn't automatically grant the same personal rights, like a woman using her partner's surname. So, while a stable union has significant legal effects, especially patrimonial ones, it does not create the civil status of married. Finally, we have personal, civil status. This refers to inherent qualities of a person, such as age, sex, and mental health. Your age determines whether you are considered a child, adolescent, adult, or senior citizen, which in turn affects your legal capacity to act. While our legal system aims for equality, your sex can still have legal relevance in specific contexts, such as the requirement in Venezuela that marriage be between a man and a woman. So, what are the key characteristics of civil status? Let's quickly run through them. First, everyone has a civil status. You are always a son or daughter, and you are either single, married, divorced, or widowed. Second, it is one and indivisible. You can't be both single and married at the same time. Third, it's a matter of public order. This means you can't just create, change, or get rid of your civil status based on personal whim, while your will is needed to enter into a marriage. For instance, you can't then dictate the legal effects of being married. Fourth, it's inalienable and non-renounceable. You can't give it away or refuse to have one. Fifth, it's not subject to prescription. You don't gain or lose a civil status simply by the passage of time. Sixth, it's absolute. Your civil status is valid against everyone, what we call asterisk erga omnes. Asterisk. And lastly, it's permanent and inherent to you as a person. It stays with you until a new status is acquired and is inseparable from your identity as a natural person. It's important to remember that legal entities, like corporations, do not have a civil status. Understanding your civil status is crucial because it defines your legal standing in society, outlining your rights, duties, and capacities. It's a cornerstone of personal law that affects everything from family matters to your relationship with the state. We hope this explanation has been helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Lex Nova Abogados Jr. for more legal insights. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.